The night, I finally understood everything. Rain slammed against my windshield like it was trying to warn me. 12 years. That's how long he lived alone, and nobody cared. Not my wife. Not her sisters. Not even the neighbors who waved politely and never stopped. And as I stood outside his property, staring up at the shadow of what he'd built, my stomach dropped. Because that 10-foot structure wasn't just concrete and steel. It was a message, and it was meant for them. When I married my wife, her grandfather was spoken about like an inconvenience from another era. He's bitter. He's difficult. He chose to be alone. That's what I was told. Family gatherings went on without him. Holidays passed like he didn't exist, and when I once suggested we visit, my wife shut it down fast. He doesn't like people, she said. The truth was simpler. They didn't like him because he refused to give them what they wanted. I met him only once, from a distance, at a funeral where nobody sat beside him. He stood straight, eyes sharp, hands folded like he was holding back a lifetime of words. When he nodded at me, I felt it. Pride mixed with disappointment, like he already knew how this story would end. Years passed. Then one afternoon, my wife got a call that changed everything. Her grandfather had passed away quietly in his sleep. No drama. No hospital scene. Just gone. I expected tears. Instead, I saw a calculation. Her sisters arrived that evening, whispering in corners, already dividing things that weren't theirs yet. The house, the land, the savings they were sure existed. The lawyer's letter arrived 2 days later. We were all summoned to the property. That's when I saw it properly for the first time. A 10-foot wall stood at the edge of the land, thick, solid, immovable. It wrapped around the heart of the property like a fortress, hiding something inside. My wife frowned. Her sisters scoffed. "What a waste of money," one of them muttered. Another laughed. Probably built it to keep people out, because he hated everyone. The lawyer unlocked the gate and let us in. Inside the wall stood a modest house, but everything about it was deliberate, organized, preserved, like he'd been waiting. We gathered in the living room as the lawyer opened the will. The air was heavy, impatient. He read slowly. The house? Donated to a local charity that sheltered abandoned seniors. The land outside the wall? Sold, with proceeds funding free legal aid for the elderly. The savings? Already transferred years ago into a trust for medical care for people with no family. My wife's sisters started shouting. My wife stood frozen. Then the lawyer cleared his throat and read the final clause. The wall, he said, and everything within it, including the private study and its contents, is left to my grandson-in-law alone. All eyes turned to me. I didn't understand until the lawyer handed me a key and a letter. Inside the study were journals. 12 years of them. Every ignored birthday. Every unanswered call. Every holiday spent alone while his own family vacationed together. There were photos, too. Him standing outside their homes with gifts he never delivered because he heard laughter inside and didn't want to beg to be included. The last page shook me. I built the wall so they would finally understand what exclusion feels like. And I left it to the one person who never treated me like a burden. Outside, my wife and her sisters argued with the lawyer, demanding, threatening. But the law was airtight. The wall couldn't be torn down. The property inside couldn't be sold. And I had full control. I didn't scream. I didn't gloat. I turned the study into a community space. I invited seniors like him, forgotten ones, ignored ones. The wall stayed. Tall, silent, unmovable. Now, every time my wife's sisters drive past and see people laughing inside the wall they'll never enter, they understand. He lived alone for 12 years. But in the end, he made sure they were the ones left outside.